Well, see, right now, it's in beta testing, so I can see it, and the two people that are helping me can see it, but it's not ready for publication, so.
I'm all right right now. Well, you didn't sit here, did you? You're glad I don't.
But it's getting this.
My hand was moving through.
Another pretty new.
Did you have to take mine, or just sign it?
It was down 11.9, so they didn't have to give it to me. So it looked like a building back there.
There's 12 in this card.
Couple minutes here, Miss. You ever see Janet? She's doing drag with us. You know, she was Hawaiian. You usually got black, pink, everything. It's black. Janet, Hawaiian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you didn't see no Facebook.
I'm not fancy on Facebook.
We call the meeting to order July the 12th at 7:30 for Varnamtown. I want to welcome all of the visitors, and I hope everybody can participate, and we have a good meeting tonight. And I'd like for Mayor, or not Mayor, Pro Tem, Ennis Wing to close.
Heavenly Father, we look to you and thank you for watching over our area and blessing us, Father, in many ways. We're grateful for coming together to do business for our area and our time. Thank you for being with us in our home life and in our church life and time life. Father, we're grateful for each one. Bless our visitors, and I bless the board to do the business it needs to do, and we'll give you thanks for your blessings that you've given each of us. Through your Son's name we ask it. Amen.
Amen. Adoption of the agenda.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Reading of the minutes of regular meeting June 14th, 2021.
The regular meeting of the Town of Varnamtown of the Board of Aldermen was held at the Town Hall on June 14, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. Present were Alderman Ennis Swain, Sylvia Galloway, Ada McDonald, John David Dawson III, Judy Galloway, and Clerk Sandy Parrish. Absent was Mayor Bill Kirby. Mayor Pro Tem Ennis Swain called the meeting to order. The agenda was approved with a motion by Alderman McDonald, seconded by Alderman S. Galloway. The regular meeting minutes of May 10th, 2021 were approved as amended with a motion by Alderman McDonald, seconded by Alderman Dawson. The amendment being changing enforcing the accessory building ordinance to enforcing the solid waste ordinance. Alderman McDonald asked the board, had they heard if the mayor had contacted the county to include Varnamtown in the solid waste interlocal agreement? At the time of this meeting, no one on the board had any knowledge if the county had been contacted. Alderman Dawson contacted Mike Fulford from BCC concerning microphones for the town meetings. He was told it could cost between $7,000 and $10,000. Alderman McDonald stated that the town is not in ADA, American Disability Act compliance, that there are 2 board members that are hearing impaired. After some discussion, Alderman Dawson will get more estimates from the board to pursue purchasing microphones for the town meetings. Alderman McDonald stated that the town is also not in compliance with the ADA at the boat ramp parking lot 2. The town needs to provide handicap parking. There needs to be an 8-foot long, 5-foot wide concrete slab adjacent to the asphalt road. She stated that the boat ramp and the pavilion at the park are both wheelchair accessible. The only question is if the bathrooms at the park need a concrete sidewalk. Alderman McDonald will check to see what may need to be done what may need to be done at the park. Alderman S. Galloway made a motion to designate a handicap space at the boat ramp parking lot 2, seconded by Alderman Dawson, motion passed. Alderman McDonald asked if anyone knew if the mayor had checked on a towing company for the area in front of the boat ramp that is posted with a no parking sign. No one knew at the time of the meeting, at this meeting. Alderman McDonald stated that the planning board met concerning the minor subdivision ordinance. The ordinance requires a 45-foot property easement. The planning board recommends reducing that to 30 foot. Alderman McDonald made a motion to hold a public hearing to reduce the property easement from 45 foot to 30 foot and to include the definition of a structure in the minor subdivision ordinance. Seconded by Alderman S. Galloway, motion passed. Alderman McDonald stated that now that the town speed limit is 35 miles per hour, golf carts can now ride on the roads. After checking several different towns, they require all golf carts to be registered for liability purposes. She stated that the planning board recommends to the board that the town implement a liability waiver for golf carts. Alderman J. Galloway asked if they have to be street ready. Alderman McDonald stated that that would be enforced by the sheriff's department. She stated that the town just needed to have the owner sign a liability waiver and get decals showing that they have been registered. Alderman McDonald made a motion to hold a public hearing for golf cart registrations and liability waiver. Seconded by Alderman Dawson, motion passed. Alderman McDonald reported that the resident-only sign at the boat ramp parking lot 2 was not working. She received several comments from several citizens. Alderman McDonald made a motion to get vehicle tags for town residents and place the towing company sign at the boat ramp parking lot 2, seconded by Alderman Dawson. Alderman McDonald asked Alderman Dawson if he knew of a town that had a private boat ramp. He stated that he did not, but that Alex Quigger did, and asked him where it was. Alex Quigger stated that there was a private boat ramp at Sluice Point. Alderman McDonald stated that she would check into it again. She stated that if a towing company sign is posted there, that there would have to be across the board enforcement. The vote was 4 yes, 1 no, motion passed. The clerk reported that an address was assigned on Wisteria Lane, 2 pool, and HVAC and a whole house generator permits were issued. The town parcel verification for the county has been completed. The clerk informed the board that they need to vote on mask mandates for the town and the town meetings, for the town hall and the town meetings. Alderman Dawson made a motion for the town to follow the CDC guidelines for mask mandates for the town hall and town meetings, which suggests that if you are vaccinated, no mask, and if not vaccinated, a mask is recommended. Seconded by Alderman McDonald, motion passed. The clerk stated that several citizens have inquired about using the community room. Alderman Dawson made a motion to open the community room for public use and to move the town meeting back into the meeting room starting next month. Seconded by Alderman J. Galloway, motion passed. Alderman Dawson stated that the town sign is inadequate to hold enough announcements and that the town needs a website. Alderman Dawson reached out to Alan Zirkin concerning clarification for the boat ramp parking lot 2 parking enforcement that is fair and equitable. Alderman Dawson read the email and asked that it is attached to the meeting's minutes. During public comments, Richard Sherbert addressed the board and stated that he runs a dumpster business for debris cleanup, etc., and that he was asked to attend the meeting by Mrs. Whip. Alex Quigger stated that there is no reason for a golf cart waiver and that the boat ramp parking lot 2 needs a fence with a code for parking. Doug McDonald stated that the residents-only parking sign isn't working because there is Varnamtown citizens telling people to park there because it is not enforced. Kenny Hewitt stated that all meetings should be posted on the town sign. A citizen spoke out and asked Alderman Dawson about a timeline for a website. He responded that he wasn't sure. Another citizen asked about mass emails to the citizens. The clerk informed them that if all board members were included in the emails, that would be considered a quorum of the board and would be a meeting of the board. Gay Fulford stated that she had never heard any feedback on the craft and exhibit show-off. Alderman McDonald made a motion for Gay Fulford to move forward with the event committee to proceed with plans for the craft and exhibit show-off, seconded by Alderman Dawson, motion passed. Doug McDonald stated that there is a washout area at the old railway that needs to be filled in. Alderman McDonald stated that the rocks left over can be moved and packed into the muddy washed out area, but we may need a permit. O'Neill Varnum stated that the old railway needs to be pulled up. Alderman McDonald stated that TJ Marine is supposed to do it when he repairs the boat ramp. Alderman McDonald made a motion to go into closed session to read closed session minutes from May 10, 2021, seconded by Alderman S. Galloway. Motion passed. Mayor Pro Tem Swain called the regular meeting back in session. The closed session minutes of May 10, 2021 were approved as read with a motion by Alderman McDonald, seconded by Alderman S. Galloway. As there was no further business to discuss, Alderman McDonald made a motion to adjourn, seconded by Alderman S. Galloway. Motion passed.
Good job.
A motion to accept the minutes,
I make a motion we accept the minutes as read.
not here a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Public hearing June 14, 2021.
Purpose of the public hearing held on June 14, 2021 was to approve and adopt the fiscal year 2021-22 budget. Present were Mayor Pro Tem Ennis Swain, Alderman Judy Galloway, John David Dawson III, Ada McDonald, Sylvia Galloway, Clerk Sandy Parrish. Absent was Mayor Bill Kirby. Alderman S. Galloway presented the proposed fiscal year 2021-22 budget. During public comment, Kenny Hewitt asked about budgeting for the clean sweep. He was told that it is in this year's budget. Gabe Fulford asked about the craft show event. After some discussion, it was decided that the event committee would get sponsors and donations, and the town could help in the event that there was not sufficient funds raised. Alderman S. Galloway made a motion to accept the proposed fiscal year 2021-22 budget, seconded by Alderman J. Galloway. Motion passed. As there was no further business to discuss, Alderman Dawson made a motion to adjourn, seconded by Alderman S. Galloway. Motion passed.
You hear a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Excuse me, if I heard something that's incorrect, should I say it now? Before they're approved?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I don't know, that's why I'm asking. If something was not correct in something, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that.
Let's do the comments.
We'll do it. But it won't be approved.
But then it would already be approved if we were working on it.
It's okay because it's not gonna make any difference. I'm sure.
Are you satisfied?
Cause it won't take much to change it if there's something wrong.
We can amend it.
That's fine, that's fine. It'll be okay.
Motion to approve.
Oh, she made a
I
motion.
made
All in favor?
I'll second.
I apologize. I didn't mean to.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, old business, my report. Well, I don't know if all you do it or not, but the last meeting on June the 9th, I was in the hospital. Just got over a 5-hour surgery, and I thank the good Lord that I'm here tonight and can be at this one. But the only report that I do have with old business was I did get in touch with Christy Dixon about responding to the interest in municipalities about the cleaning of the properties. And she said, please let me know if you have any concerns on what she's doing. She's talking to there's 5 other municipalities that would be interested in this. And they're supposed to let us know about the expenses and logistics of it. We had talked about it before, but they did not have the manpower to enforce every time. And so that's what initiated this request, and Christy did get back with me on that.
And I talked with her, and like you said, there's a lot that needs that help for the county, because the smaller towns can't do it. But they're supposed to get these municipalities together to form an interlocal agreement. So is she going to let us know so that we can have representation from Varnamtown?
She said there was 5 that was interested in it like we were, and she's getting in touch with them so she can get logistics of it. She said there were just 5 municipalities.
Okay, so, but when the 5 meet, are we one of the 5?
Yeah, we're one of the 5.
So when they meet, we'll have representation there.
We don't know. She said she'd get back.
And her name is Kirsty.
Well,
When I first saw it, Chris, but it's actually Kirsty.
thank you. Committee reports.
Which one you want?
Any committee report. Just have on the agenda committee report.
Well, we decided that we needed to have a public hearing to see about getting some changes made to the subdivision ordinance, and we never set a date for the public hearing. So we need to set a date for public hearing. Because the planning board was recommended, for one thing, the right of way in the subdivision ordinance requires 45 feet, and the consensus was that it should be reduced to 30. The other thing is that we need to add a couple of definitions just for clarity for the subdivision ordinance. One being the definition of structure, and the other definition of fence. And so that's, we need to do that at the public hearing, and we'll go over that here so that you'll be familiar with it prior to the public hearing. And I believe, now as far as the only thing that was recommended as far as the town asking for something as far as golf carts was for just a waiver of liability. And the waiver of liability, if I had copies, I'd pass them out, but I don't. It says, I acknowledge that I will assume all liability and am fully responsible for the operation of the golf cart on the roads in the town of Varnamtown. I also acknowledge that the town of Varnamtown is in no way endorsing the operation of this cart on the roads, and does not and will not assume any liability associated with the operation of the cart. I agree to indemnify and hold harmless the town of Varnamtown for any and all liability arising from the use of the golf cart. And so that's what we recommended, just to get a waiver of liability, and every town that I know of has that. So,
Where did you get that waiver?
well, I wrote this one. I looked at several different waivers, and I put the one together that I thought would be appropriate for us. Now, you want me to run some copies, but this is something that we'll need to go over at the public hearing, yeah. And of course, that's it. And then the Varnamtown ordinance just says we require this, and then that's the liability. Okay, so we need the definition for fence: a structure that serves as a physical barrier, enclosure, or screen that is not part of a building. A fence shall have a 2.5 foot setback from the property line. And structure: anything built, erected, or constructed, being walled or roofed, a gas or liquid storage tank that is primarily above ground, anything having a permanent location on the ground, including but not limited to in-ground pools and permanently installed above-ground pools, with the exception of utility poles and fences. So fences are not considered structure, and that clarifies that, because we had a question about that. We had not actually addressed the part about fences, so that's the two definitions that we need to bring before the people and see.
When do you plan to have a planning board?
Well, that's up to the board. We could do it,
It's not planning board.
Public.
no,
that's
that's
a
a
public
public
hearing,
hearing,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I knew what you meant. Yeah, public here, we can, if y'all wanna wait and do it at the next meeting,
Meeting, like we did the last time, we had a public
yeah,
hearing.
I guess that'll do, we've gotten by this far,
That'll be August 16th.
August 16th, okay, and we can keep it at the same time if you want to.
Are we doing both of them?
Yeah,
The
let's-
ordinance change and the golf cart?
Yeah, let's do the ordinance change as far as definition and right of way and the waiver for golf carts. We'll do all at the same time.
Now, also, on our marquee,
What? Y'all need to make a motion, y'all have to make a motion to set the date and time.
Okay, I make a motion for a public hearing for August the 16th, 7:30.
For
for,
I said the 16th.
Is it August the 16th?
No,
It's
I'm
gonna be
wrong,
nine.
yeah, I'm
August,
wrong,
it's
the
August
ninth.
the 9th.
9, yeah.
Okay.
I looked at the calendar wrong, I'm
Let me
sorry.
amend the
Thank you.
motion to August the 9th. And that will be to make an amendment to the subdivision ordinance and to add a couple of definitions and, golf cart ordinance. I hope that's everything.
Does it include all of those changes that he brought here to us that night at the planning meeting?
Yeah, we did that at the last public hearing.
Oh, we did, okay.
Yeah. Where we had to, where the ordinances were updated and some things
Oh,
were
okay, that was
deleted.
that, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I second it.
now do I hear a motion?
She
Okay,
made
I
a
made a
motion, and I
motion.
She
second
already
it.
did.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
One thing too, I'd like to mention on our marquee, you know, we have our monthly meetings up there. And when we have a public hearing or any type of meeting here, I would like for that to be on there also. And I know it just has so much room, and I was wondering if we could have, just like tonight, a regular meeting, on July 4th, tonight, which is, a regular meeting, and it's on the marquee. Then next week, if we're gonna have a public hearing, instead of putting the, meeting for next month in August, have the public hearing on this day, and then like the next week before our regular meeting, have it changed to our regular meeting, which would be August the 9th.
I think we had discussed that at the last meeting, that even though I couldn't get everything on one board, that the board and the citizens would still like to see, even if it was only up there for a couple of days.
Right.
So that was discussed previously.
Cause I know under the carport, nobody goes looking at that. I mean, I know at one time that's where we put everything, but now that we have the marquee, I'm
Well,
like, we can utilize
it
it.
still has to be put there, that's
Yeah.
state statute, I still have to post it
Well,
there.
it's fine to be posted there, but I also want it posted on the marquee.
Yeah, we had decided that we would do that.
Any more committee reports?
Is that on business?
Wait, I don't know, this might come under,
This is we're in old business.
okay, the towing, did you ever get anything going with the towing?
I haven't heard anything from the towing back, but I think, because we already said that we weren't going to enforce it, it wasn't enforceable,
Right, that's for the parking lot.
well, for the parking lot.
I'm talking about down at the boat ramp.
No, because I've been in the hospital, I haven't
I
had.
know, but, well, this has been 2-3 months.
Well, I'm sorry, but I
It's
haven't.
okay, I took care of it. I've got a sign right there. If you want it, that's up to the board. There's a sign. What this is,
What did you tell me you take care of it?
I took care of it today, and I'm telling
And
you
you got
right
the
now.
sign, and you got the sign?
He handed it to me.
Wow, you're good.
Well, I mean, well, if you look, this is not a sign we have made. This is one that he had.
Okay,
He had several of them. But what this,
Read it to us.
Where you putting that one at?
this goes to the boat ramp, where you have emergency parking.
On the right.
Boat ramp, I mean, boat park.
Now, the emergency parking,
You know, we're
so
just
not,
being.
not parking for, if we
It's
just
the
rent
ramp
or
or
this
it's
parking, not for the emergency.
That's where that.
It's down at the boat ramp where it's marked with the yellow
Yellow
marks.
lines.
Emergency vehicle parking only, and we've got the sign that violators will be towed at their own expense. So you have to show the name of the towing company, so if you come and find your car towed, you'll know who to call and get your car back. So this is just a matter of Murray's putting a couple of screws in there, and then that down there's finished.
Because the sign's already there.
The sign's already there, yeah.
The ordinance was passed, the signs were put there, the yellow lines are marked, everything's in place. That's been done for quite a while. We had everything but this, so this completes it.
And who's gonna enforce it?
Can't, or
Is he gonna- is he
call,
gonna-
anybody can
Is
call.
he gonna come down here every day and check it out?
No, you got to call.
No, if somebody parks where the fire truck should be, or a rescue squad, if somebody parks there, anybody can call and the tow truck will come and tow them if they're parked illegally.
Okay, any
That's
more?
what the ramp, right? At the ramp.
This is at the ramp, because anytime you have an enforcement sign saying you will tow, you've got to show who's doing the towing, so they'll know who to call, to get their car back. So.
Okay, any more committee reports?
Well, don't we need to approve this towing company? Was it
I figure
done?
pretty well that's already approved.
No, we haven't been approved.
That's my question,
Not Capitol.
is have we checked in with any other companies? Is he the only one that's been contacted for an estimate or what?
Well, we don't pay for it. This is whatever who gets towed is their expense.
Turn it this way.
Well,
It's not
I'm
costing us anything.
Well, I know that, but I mean,
Uh-huh.
I'm asking,
Well, Bill was
We're gonna
supposed to
give
check
him
months
business.
ago, and I gave him a card for Ernie's. I didn't check for Ernie, but I gave him a card for Ernie's. Well, I found out this one is even closer, I believe. He's right there at Bones Neck. And he does this, and he had the signs right there.
Well, if memory serves me correctly, I was supposed to check on the parking lot number 2, not at the boat ramp.
No,
But we
no,
already
we
had
can't
that,
do parking
no,
lot.
that to it,
We
private
haven't done
parking.
anything for the
Well,
parking lot.
that's the impression I got.
Well, that could be very well be.
Okay, any more committee
But,
reports?
no, we got to decide on this. So do y'all want to go with this towing company, or you wanna check with somebody else?
I'd like to check with one that I know before I make a vote.
Okay,
Where is he located?
Slow.
well this is right here at Bones Neck, a local fella. I mean, it doesn't cost us anything.
Like I said, I'd just like to check with somebody else.
Okay, then I'll take him his sign back.
We're looking at a radius about what, 10 miles?
That might be more expensive for the car that gets towed. I don't know. I've never had to deal with
Sometimes
it.
traffic could be
Go,
up
go,
to.
Or should be more
go,
clear
go,
anyway.
go.
But that-
Any more discussion?
Well, it's, well, I'm gonna make a motion to go with this, with,
Second,
Cat Hook.
Do I hear a second?
I'll say,
All in favor? Say aye. Oppose?
And I'll vote opposed just for the heck of it.
4.
Well, it's closed, somebody run down there and get the car if they have.
Yeah, be
parked
right
there.
there.
Okay, any other committee reports? Moving along.
Of course. On the microphone and sound system, that kind of got waylaid by Mike being in the hospital, and Gay says he's got a little bit more dental work to do. And after he gets finished with that and gets a little bit recovered, then he'll get us a couple of estimates from different places
Did you check with Terry Willits?
Not yet. I was gonna check with Mike first.
I know, but we mentioned, last time,
I mentioned it.
but, so you didn't check with him yet?
Not yet, but I will.
Okay. I mean, that would give us,
Well, I'm going to get more than one estimate, that's standard.
okay, I know you did. That's good, that's a good job.
Thank you. Let's do this under old business. Since Ada mentioned the ADA compliance, the one place that was mentioned to me after the town board meeting last time that is also out of compliance is right here. Because we don't have wheelchair access to that bathroom around there from the picnic gazebo, which was supposed to be built, as far as a concrete walkway around there to hook them together when it was going to be back there. So if we're gonna come into compliance, we need to make sure all three of our properties.
Yeah, because there's a ramp back there, but there's not a
That's right.
sidewalk.
And if you try taking a wheelchair around there after it's been raining, you're going bog down.
Yeah, that's why, and it gets boggy and
You're
the
bog-
water.
That's right, you're going to bog down trying to walk around there.
Right, I've done that.
You know what, that might be a problem.
So add that to the list. Because if we're out of compliance in 2 places, we're out of compliance in 3 places.
There's that one, and, we need a sidewalk from the bathroom to the road at the park, and then the one down at the parking lot. I had not even thought about this one, but you're right, and it's boggy. And that's
I've
what,
been back there before, and got hard up.
yeah,
You bought who you need.
wonder what it would take to put a sidewalk in something that, would you have to raise it up or what? I guess you can do it.
Because originally it was supposed to be behind the building, but then it was gonna take so much dirt to backfill it.
Yeah.
Then we decided to move it out front. That's been many years ago.
Might be closer to go from here around there than from there all the way around there. We have to measure.
We got the man with the experience sitting there. Merce, what you think? What would it take to,
To the sidewalk around,
yep,
me, Laura.
Give a call.
No, I don't know. No, I don't know, I'd have to take a look at it and see really what it would involve, might take a little more than a,
Just a cement truck.
but we can head it up.
David,
We can be in charge of it,
It'll be
for getting it done.
There's also the septic tank that y'all need to remember where it's at, so we'll get run over. Cause that, we had issues with that a while back.
Well, we might have to go this way. I'm gonna see if that-
Has the septic tank been marked first? Did you know?
I'm pretty sure we found it, it's right out front of this.
Oh, it's out here.
Oh, well then,
Set tank.
Out here. Cause it sort of went
So
back
we
there.
will make, we would have to make double sure.
so that would be 2 sidewalks and a space down at the parking lot.
Any more committee reports?
Do y'all want to act on it?
Y'all already made a motion to do the parking lot at the boat ramp, but the sidewalk at the park to the bathroom, that was something that was gonna be double checked on to make sure that we actually had to have that first. That's why y'all didn't make a motion on it.
Well, I went over there and looked, and it's grass, it's not boggy like this, but it is grass and sand, and the roadway's hard, and see from the pavilion, there's a ramp, so they can get to that hard roadway easily, and then just travel around, but it's a short sidewalk from the road to the bathroom. That one's short. And that should, I think that would do it, it's a hard surface. Do we have it in the budget to do that? It's gonna be the concrete is
I
gonna
don't think we
be
put
this.
any of this in the budget because we didn't
Uh-uh.
do anything about it.
Right.
No?
Depending on how much it costs, well, we do have reserves, but depending on, you know, especially not knowing what's involved back there.
Yeah,
Could,
that's the problem.
could our maintenance manager get us an estimate on both
Is it on
lawnmowers?
there?
And let us know
Bring it
about
back,
that one and the one out at the park, that
we
one.
got the park, and the park, when it park, he comes from the bathroom, he's got to go to the parking lot. Not through that gate, but to the parking lot.
No.
Straight out, right?
No, straight, it would come out the bathroom and right to the side, to the road.
Right.
Not the parking lot.
No,
but it's
Not the
the road.
parking lot.
just to the road where the gate is.
Yeah, up from the gate,
That mark.
Okay, yeah.
right when you get to the back of it, Cause the front of it's concrete, so
Okay,
just,
this one would go from the end of the concrete over here, walk all the way back around.
Right,
Okay.
correct.
or does it come from the pavilion?
We're from the pavilion back there.
From the what now?
Pavilion back there.
Yeah,
It is
from the
come from
The covered
pavilion,
area.
From the pavilion to the
yeah,
back.
from the pavilion to the ramp
Okay.
back here.
In the back, okay.
To the back, two bathrooms. Any more committee reports?
Don't get an estimate, man.
Yeah, Merce is gonna check it out for us. Any more committee reports?
Now, are you on old business or new business?
So what was the decision?
If what's gonna happen, Merce is gonna,
Yeah,
get estimates on those two, Wait to the board next meeting. Do you get it for the next meeting, Merce?
Good one.
The estimates for the meeting, next meeting? For the two, constructing of the sidewalks?
For the both of them, yeah.
Yeah, for both.
Yeah, I'll get that.
Get estimate, okay.
Me,
Then we'll find out where we get the money from,
Right.
if we can.
don't have a hurricane this year.
Any more committee reports?
Now, are you saying committee reports on old business?
Old business, old business, we still on old business, we hadn't left. All right, clerk finance report.
For old business. Back in February, I presented this to the board. It's an app that I found where citizens can download it on their phones. And, whoever, the town can just send out immediate, information. It could be, you know, meetings, it could be emergencies, anything like that. I made copies for y'all back in February, but since it was brought back up last month, I thought I would try to find this, and I found this one. I do know there's another company that another town uses, a clerk that I know. It's not this same company. I haven't looked into any of this. This is just something that was mailed to me, first of the year. So this is something that the town, it's not that expensive. This particular company is $349 a year for the town. And all it requires is citizens to just download the app on their phone, and then say it's me or whoever, goes on to our end and sends out a message that there's a public hearing on this date. There's an emergency meeting on this date. There's a state of emergency. Anything that we want to send out, whoever has this app on their phone immediately gets that information.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And that's $349 a year.
Well, like I said, this was something that I got at the first of the year, and it wasn't ever asked of me to look into it anymore. This could be a not very good company. I mean, it could be, you know, something like the sign, it's not what we're thinking we're getting. But if it's something that, you're interested in, I do know another town, a clerk that uses a different company and they're very satisfied, and it's a small town also. So I could get another company, get some more information on something else like this.
Could you do that for us for the next meeting, let us know? Then we can see which way to go, best way to go on that. That sounds like a good idea.
That's a good
Yeah.
way to get that
Information.
quick, yeah.
Also, the last meeting, the final election dates were, misspoke. They are not the dates that I spoke. They are July 2nd through the 16th. There was a misprint on my paper that I had. So I just wanted to verify that correction. It's through the 16th. And, let's see. I have a letter, from the, event committee. So Gay came to, the office last week, or a couple weeks ago. We decided that what she's gonna start doing is, like, every month, she's gonna just send me updates of what's going on, and then that way I can just read it to the board, and then that way if there's any motions or anything that needs to be done, if she can't be here, it can be taken care of then. So I'm just gonna read the one that she had sent for this month. This is upon receiving approval to proceed with the plans for the 2022 Varnamtown Spring Craft Show-Off. I met with Sandy Parrish, our town clerk, on Wednesday, June 30th. The primary intent of this conversation was to determine the easy and most transparent means of receiving and dispensing monies. Sandy and I talked at length and agreed on me opening a checking account in the name of Varnamtown Event Committee. This generic rather than specific account would also serve us for any other events that we may have. We also agreed that I will choose one other person that will be working with me on the events to have their name on the account as well. Currently, I'm working on application process, utilizing information as I use, utilizing information I have used in the past, as well as information from other festivals, farmers markets, and small towns. I have spoken with Mr. Harvey Champion about the use of his lot across from Mr. Knott for the location of vendor parking. He very graciously agreed. My next step before announcing the event to the public is to ensure transportation to and from the town hall festival site for the public. It is my hope that this event will be self-supporting, but also knowing, as was stated in the June meeting, the town will provide the balance of funds not raised, but I am highly optimistic that this event will support itself. Thank you for your continued support for this event. Respectfully submitted, Gay Fulford. If there's any questions on that or anything?
Sounds good to me, Dave. Well planned.
For old, that's all I have for old business.
Okay.
Wait. Maybe I need to correct this because it was in the minutes that Alex, is Alex here?
No.
She's on vacation.
Okay, I wish she was. Anyway, when I asked him about the private boat ramp and he said Sluice Point, y'all remember that? Well, I called him, that was the meeting on Monday night, so I called him Tuesday morning because I thought I had checked before, but I wanted to make sure to ask him what town it was near. And he told me something, Top Hill or something, I can't remember exactly what. But anyway, I said about the boat ramp, and he said no, he made a mistake. He meant private parking lot. He said the boat ramp at Sluice Point was a wildlife boat ramp. And so I wanted to clear that up, that we have not found any town that's got a private boat ramp. And the parking lot, I checked with him, I called the town hall. And Alex is right, I believe it's 3 parking lots there. There's one that the town owns, and there's one for an overflow, and then there's a third one. The third one, which is private, is owned by a private development. The town, as a matter of fact, when I was talking with someone at the town hall, the guy who writes their ordinances came and they let me talk with him. And he said, no, he said he knows that gets confused because they're right there together. But he said the town does not own that private parking lot at Sluice Point. So being, that was, you know, felt like it needed to be cleared up.
New business. I guess it's me again. I went by the park today, and which I've noticed it several times. And down at the main sign at the park, if you're coming off of Sabbathum Road, there, it really needs to be cleaned and repainted.
Yeah.
Cause
It does.
it really looks moldy and mildew. And I didn't know, Marcia, if you felt like that, you'd have to, maybe pressure wash it and repaint it or whatever it needs. Because it's really faded.
Yeah.
And also the one coming from Brown's Landing, that sign looks really bad also, if you can check that one out and see what it needs to be done to repair that.
He, with, you want him to maybe take, you might have to take it back to,
Who did we get it from,
on 17, sign,
That sign shop.
sign shop, yeah. And I guess he could take it down and carry it back, but.
Is that the blue sign?
that blue sign there at the town park, that's town city limits. Town-
Yeah.
Town
It's a
park.
pretty sign, but it's,
Take down in,
I don't know, it's,
the signs and.
I don't know how difficult that would be to take down, but it's faded, he's right. Hey, would that be a lot of trouble? Cause I don't know how he could, he could fix it, how he could repaint it if we don't take it in.
He
Would
may,
be,
he may need to check and
You
see
can
how
look at it.
deteriorated it is.
Yeah,
The
I'll,
wood may be
I'll,
compromised.
sure I know which one you're talking about.
The main sign, you know, where it has city limits, Varnamtown, right out there at the park, to where the town limits begin,
Yeah.
where it ends, that's where the, sign that I'm talking about.
You talking about one right in front of the park?
Right in front of the park, under the town limit.
Under the trees.
Yeah, under the trees. Yeah.
just like.
I don't know if it's some of the sand got on it or what happened, but it needs to be cleaned up or replaced or whatever we need to do to it.
I'll take it.
Yeah, and then I think one on Brown's Landing Road, but actually it's called, I guess, the Stone Assembly Road still, that one down there by the, tenants, check on that one also.
Okay.
That's a small sign.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
also.
it's no big deal.
Okay, well, that concludes my report, because I just got where I can get out. Committee report, new business.
I told y'all already part of my report. The website is in beta testing, which means that when I sign on to it, I can see the skeleton. It should be operational by the end of August. And I talked with Sandy tonight and with Sylvia. We're going to have the whole ordinance book on the website so that anybody can access the ordinances. It will probably end up being that I'll scan it, put it in a Google Dropbox, and then do a link from the website to that. But you'll be able to pull up the entire ordinance book and look up for yourself if you've got a question about an ordinance. And then when we get the recodification or the codification, whichever one that it's called, all I'll have to do is go in and pull out the old pages and stick the new pages into it. Something else for the website, and we saw this at the last meeting, and we've already talked about the limitations of our sign out there. In terms of our subcommittees meeting, the word's not getting out, because Ennis County said we had 20 people here last time, and nobody raised their hand that they knew that there was a planning board meeting 4 or 5 days before. So I'm going to ask Ada and Sylvia for Finance Committee, whenever you have a subcommittee meeting, on the same day that you posted under there, shoot all of us an email so that I can get the dates of those meetings on the website. Because y'all are our bosses, and so you need to know when the meetings are.
So we want to attend a planning meeting?
Yeah, it's a public meeting.
You're welcome to any meeting that we have, it's public, everything's public.
Yeah.
All this is public records.
And for example, again, when I walked out of the meeting last month, there were two golf cart owners right there, and they both said, well, I understand what Ada said during the meeting about we're gonna sign a waiver, but since I've got a golf cart, it would have been nice to know that the planning board was going to discuss it in case I wanted to be there and listen. So.
We will have a public hearing though, and that'll be a time where everybody can talk about, because really, the planning board, which we love to have people come, because the more you hear, the more you can get it together, but the planning board recommends. And so it's the public hearings is where we really need the most input too.
You need to get the input from the public.
Yes, we do,
Then you
absolutely.
bring it to the board.
So I'm gonna ask both of our committee chairmen to shoot all of us an email, because actually all board members should be informed of the subcommittee meetings.
Every meeting that's out here, we need to be informed.
And that's not always happening.
I don't think every board member is supposed to be in it.
Well, it's
Because
It's
you
not
have
that
a
we have-
quorum.
They
You
can't.
have a quorum,
I'm
you
not
can't.
saying that we be there, but
I mean,
there
you're
are
saying,
losses.
let us all know, everybody, we
So-
can't all be here, right?
So,
Am I right?
the
That's your
public,
right.
Yeah, the public can,
the
but the
public
board members
can,
can't.
that's what I'm saying, the public, we're failing at informing the public.
I'm just saying,
Of our
board
meetings.
members don't need to know, because they, except the ones that's on the committee.
Well, okay, then I will amend it to shoot me an email.
Okay?
And I would like to have an email.
And the mayor
I
is
hope
the
they
mayor.
call you if you're gonna be on it.
Huh?
I hope they call you if you're gonna be on it.
Call,
If you're supposed to be at the meeting, I hope they let you know ahead of time.
well, I don't necessarily have to be at the meeting.
That's what I'm saying. We all don't have to know, because if we're not on the committee, that's all I'm saying.
Well, see, I've had people say, well, what was going on at town hall tonight? I don't know, I hadn't heard anything about it.
Every time
I'm
you
the
call
mayor.
you, you wanna know what's going on, everybody knows.
Yeah. Knowledge is power, so the more the people have knowledge.
See, if we had a
Like
set,
she's saying, the
set time, like the board meeting is every second Monday night. And so, you know, everybody remembers that. But the planning board, we don't meet for the sake of meeting. And so we meet when we need to meet. And the last time we met is because we had been asked, we'd received a letter requesting a variance.
Well, I'm just
And-
asking to be informed.
And so that's
that it
why,
can be put on the website to notify the public.
and if we'd had room, we could put it on the marquee, but we didn't. But,
Well, she's gonna start trying.
and if I can know ahead of time, I can even announce it, you know, like tonight, but right now I don't have
Well,
one
Just,
scheduled.
just shoot me an email next time, because when the website goes live, it can be posted on there.
Well, see, just like she was saying on that last meeting, the person contacted me for what she ended up needing was a variance, and it happened within just a few days because they had to get all the paperwork done. But if we had something like this app, that could have been shot out that
That's
same
perfect,
day.
that app, that would do it.
And it notifies you immediately on your phone, whereas people with emails, not everybody has notification emails on their phone. They may not check it every day. They may miss something like that. So it's something like this app that's immediately, you know, it notifies you right then. That's for those spur of the moment things that come up.
But what if people don't have an app that they can put it on their telephone?
You have to download the app.
What if you don't have a phone? Where
Well,
you
if
can
it's
have
not,
it?
then you don't have the internet to get on the web. I
Yeah,
thought
like
that's
people
what
on
I'm saying.
The more ways we have to inform people, the
The
better.
better
Yeah.
also. And that's the reason why I just like having a sign out there to
And we still
revolve
have word
around.
of mouth.
That's right. So I'm just making that request so that when the website goes live, the public can be informed.
Now, when is the website going live?
Probably at the end of August.
Hey, 2000.
It's gonna be fun watching ourselves. I'm sorry.
And
We'll wear masks.
my last item under new business, and Ada kind of gave me this idea last summer because she did a presentation on Dougie's volunteer accomplishments for the town over the last 20 years. I want to recognize everybody. So since Gay is having, no, you're not having?
No, I am.
Since Gay is planning the Christmas festival, I'd like to plan a table for the Christmas festival that has the name of just as many town volunteers as possible who has volunteered from the beginning until 2021 to recognize everybody. Whether you've served on planning committee, finance committee, whether you participated or your parents participated in the clean sweeps that have been had in past years. Anytime anybody's volunteered for the town, I want to know about it and fix a table honoring everybody. So I've got a small list started with some of the women's auxiliary members in terms of the pageants that you all used to have, the very first Founders Days. So if anybody can think of anybody that volunteered for anything, let me know, and I am compiling a list. And then I'll get with you, Gay, about a table somewhere where we could honor our town residents.
One thing to pigtail that, I know at one time we had the veterans that served, you know, from Korea to Vietnam, and I think that's been taken off the board, or from the back here.
They just haven't been put back up, yeah.
What we would need to do also is update that. Of course, that's been, about 20 years ago since that's probably been updated for our veterans
Well,
in our town.
didn't it get so dark you
Yeah,
couldn't read
it
them?
turns.
And you couldn't read them. And I asked, I believe it was Trips, if it could be, clean where you could read them again. And
and when we're getting her stuff.
that's exactly right. And didn't they say they couldn't do it, that you couldn't do it? So the only way, of course, if that's right,
Is it ready?
is to
Get
create
a
a
whole
new
new plaque.
and maybe out of a different material. Cause it turns like, and we've got a big plaque at the church
Right.
that's done the same thing. You can't read the name on it. So if we had a different material, yeah, that needs to be up. It really does.
We need to look at them and then get it updated to the veterans that
And
served
also,
in Afghanistan.
we're supposed to put a tag under, David's picture over there that tells his exact service from date to date. Each individual tag is supposed to be, and we've not done his.
Maybe, the board, if you know, can submit a name that served, that wasn't on the previous, plaque or board, and then the community, if you know someone that has served, that name wasn't up there, present it to us, so we can all get them all done at the same time. Get that updated for their service.
Could we get
Don't
a list
replace the
of
whole
what's
board, right?
on the plaque?
Yeah.
You might get up close and read it, didn't it?
Huh?
You might get up close and read it, didn't it? See what's on. But you have to
It
have
should be
that.
in that room,
It's in
there in
there.
that room, I think.
It's in there, it's just really dark, I mean, you can read it if you, look at it, but.
Shine it back and forth.
Merce, was your name even on it? Do you remember?
In truth, I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I don't think Merce's name was
Cause
even
this
on it.
probably
It might be the first one, since it's been 50-some years ago.
We definitely need to get it updated for our townspeople. Okay, any more committee reports? Clerk, finance?
We had permits for a HVAC system, 2 new construction sites, and a storage lot. All the quarter finance reports have been submitted to the North Carolina Treasury Department, the North Carolina Department of Commerce, the North Carolina Department of Revenue, and the U.S. Treasury Department. Those have been submitted for the quarter. We've started the audit process for the previous, fiscal year, so that's started. And, let's see, the county, everybody might need to know that, y'all need to know this, the county has started a new permit process. Everything is online, and citizens don't come to us first anymore for anything. They have to go online, submit for a permit, get a permit number. Once that happens, and they're in the system, then they can come to us for whatever they have to get for us. Then I have to go in, after Mark does his stuff, then I have to go in and check off that they're okay with Varnamtown. The problem we're having though is because it's not working. I had 2 permits come in last week and they were not on site, so it took about 2 hours for the lady at the county to figure out that it was because they had already started their process before they started putting in their new permits. And if you wanted a permit the day before they started putting it online, you're not gonna be online. So we had to go and figure out where these 2 people's permits were, so it's gonna be a mess.
Make it impossible for everybody.
Yeah, so if anybody needs permits, they don't come to us first anymore. You tell them they have to go online and submit for a permit, and once they get a permit number and get the process started and get them in the system, then they come to us, and then we can, hopefully, it'll work.
So you can pull it up.
Yeah.
Issue the.
So far, it's not working, but that's what they're supposed to be doing.
Some people are not able to do that.
No,
Once they don't
And they can't go out there and get one anyway?
they're saying everything has to be done online.
Maybe they'll provide computers.
I
so that
think they line up in front of their door out
Eventually, everything's gonna be on.
Oh, yeah.
I know, but it's gonna be impossible for some people to do it though, you know?
I also received a letter, that I need to read to the board. This is from Morris Galloway. It says, I am going to have to raise the price for maintaining parking lot number 2 to $150. That is a $50 increase for mowing and weed eating. We have to make two to three trips to the parking lot to get the job completed. We go late in the evenings to rope off as much of the vacant areas we can, then go real early the next morning, hoping the vehicles from the day before have left. Many times there are vehicles in the lot during the early morning. In that case, we mow and weed eat as much as we can, then we have to return to finish the job after the remaining vehicles have left. It is almost impossible to find a time when the parking lot is completely vacant. Recently, we were questioned as to whether we had caused a rock to hit a man's truck. We had to show him that we had not worked anywhere near his truck. We had to be extremely careful when working around people's vehicles. Your understanding in this matter will be appreciated as we take pride in giving the town quality work.
Do we need a motion?
That's,
You gonna raise it, then?
I hear a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
I'm gonna recuse myself because Doug works with me sometimes.
Ennis? You opposed?
No.
Okay, so, it carries 4 in favor and 1 issue. Okay, public comments.
Yeah,
I didn't have to turn in paper.
I got well, Bill. This is for you.
Okay.
You don't mind bringing it up tonight because I can't hear it very well.
Dave, you want to come up closer so we can hear?
I'm a bit too old to get up.
What you said that way?
You don't mind bringing it up tonight? I don't know because I can't hear that well. But it's been about 3 months now that y'all supposed to be getting some mics, and I can't hear, Uncle Doc can't hear, Uncle Mitch can't hear, and probably some more can't hear, and Uncle
Morris
Oak.
can't hear.
And
And Ronnie's
where you want to go?
That's already talked about it tonight.
And Mike was going to get us a couple of estimates, and then when he got sick and got in the hospital, I basically put it on hold because I've been working on the website.
As long as you're working on it, that's fine. And get back to the cement y'all was talking about. I just done some cement. And if you pour cement and you get somebody that's halfway decent, it's $280 a yard. It's $140 a yard, and it's $140 to frame it up and pour it. So that's what it is. I just pay. I know what I'm talking about. And number three, who enforces all this stuff that y'all come up with? It's like signs down there, anything. Who enforces this? What y'all need to do is forget doing some of this stuff because nobody will enforce it. I've had people, I'm not kidding, I've had people tell me, says, we can park down there, and ain't nobody can just, nobody can enforce it. And I don't know what the answer is.
I'm in favor of doing what was said was gonna be done with that land when it was bought. To fix a small town park down there and everybody can park in the big parking lot.
Make a park?
That would solve the problem.
It was intended for a park.
No.
Go right in the
Can you show it to me in the minutes where y'all said it was a park? Show it to me. I'll buy you dinner. I'll buy you a dinner if you show it to me.
I will too.
Where it's in the minutes that this park. Well, you want me to tell you how that park started?
I know exactly how it got started, because I was down there and I walked the land and I saw a Christmas tree down there. I said, this would be a perfect spot and a perfect tree to have a town lighting and a town's lawn. I knew exactly how it got started, because I was on the board.
When they bought that land,
And
I
we're
asked Ennis, I said, Ennis, can we park over there until y'all do something with it? So I started parking, some more ads started parking there, and that's the way it started.
It got started where we said, okay, what we do, we utilize this land, we'll let our local clammers and our oystermen and fishermen park there, instead of them having to walk so far. That's how it got started, where people park there, because the intention was to be a town park with canopies, swings, and grills.
It was
and
a
like I
fault.
said,
It
Well,
weren't an
let
intention.
me say this, I'll say, I'll shut my
it's
mouth.
what?
It was a fault. It
No.
weren't an intention.
She was mayor at that time.
That's right, I remember.
Good, let me say this, and I'll say that.
'Cause we got
And we bought it from Connie.
We got
You take Uncle Midget, 80-some years old, he goes in the river all the time. Do you want him to walk all the way up there to Midget's and get his car? And he's been ordering and stuff? No, I can't believe
Not
that.
a thing in this world, because midget parks
But
right there in front
don't
of the Lord's
but don't
house.
think before sitting on a picnic table and looking over the thing, instead of looking at our elder table that goes in the river and trying to make a living and won't cover legs like that.
I know exactly where midget parks, it parks right there in front of, Lord's, fish house.
But whenever we
All right.
purchased this, land, Judy, what do you remember about
It
it?
was just a fault, because we got an estimate on the dock and all that.
We
Remember?
sure did.
And it was so outrageous, we just said, it was just a fault. It weren't nothing planned.
Because when we were buying the land, we thought, do we need to purchase this land? Because we had the opportunity to buy.
Just like
And
the
we
call,
said,
and let the
well,
local people put their boats there
We
to go fishing.
can do this with it, we can do that, but we never
Saying this is.
voted that it would be this, that, or the other.
Okay, let's go back to order. Let's go back to order.
Doug asked to park there, and it started from there.
Okay, I'm supposed to
It was
comment.
never intended to be a park.
We're looking at minutes.
Absolutely.
Okay,
I'll buy you dinner.
Kenny,
good.
Jenny, you got it.
Come on, you got it, Kenny.
Take two.
Take the mic. Take a piss.
Just an idea to consider. I'm not promoting this, just consider it. Just think about it. The parking lot is a problem, and everybody knows that. It's a big problem. To start with, it was some discussion, I was here at a meeting years ago, there was discussion about a park.
Right.
And I was told, and I can't verify this, I was told that Connie sold the land, he and Terry, and she thought it would be a park. That's why she thought. Now, I don't know that, but that's what I was told by people down at Landon, Alex, and some more. But that's way past history.
Right.
Can't do anything about that now.
And our daughter told me the same thing recently.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
It was what?
I don't believe her name was on the deed, sir.
Well, I'm just saying,
Somebody else?
let me talk,
So,
okay?
it's
Let
his
me
turn.
talk, I got 3 minutes.
It's his turn.
Please.
Go.
Okay, just a suggestion to consider. It's a big problem now, and we as a town and board, as elected officials, we got a mess down there, I think.
A colossal.
Consider this. Rope it off, no more parking. Make it a park. Make a bulkhead down there with a nice boardwalk, nice picnic tables, grills, maybe even put in a bathroom. Make it something the town be proud of. Rope it off, no parking lot. Okay? To solve the problem with the town people wanting somewhere to park. The town can afford this. They got money in the bank, plenty of money, to afford some things that could be considered. Consider going over and having a contract with Varnam's, Nikki, and Jackie to provide town parking in their lot, and the town pay some figure, whether it's $1,000 a year or $1,200 a year, whatever it could be worked out. That might solve the problem. If that parking lot is full, then park in the big parking lot. But normally, you won't have more than 2 or 3 people parking in that parking lot at any one time. Maybe more than that during oyster season. You might have Dougie and Grunt and Dan, a few more of them parking in Nikki's parking lot. But it'd be well worth considering paying $1,000 or whatever it might be a year for town people to park in their parking lot and make other area a park. Just consider that and think about it.
Thank you, Kenny. Any other public comments? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Killing me.